Yeah, it's obviously Simon, one of our team, does a lot of work behind the scenes, particularly on the World Series, which such hard work to organise those events. People, who are not close to what goes on, don't appreciate just how difficult they are. And the work he's done is tremendous in making them happen. And does quite a bit of work in the commentary box, so no doubt we'll be critically analysing his performance. If he loses, he'll be like a bear with a sore backside. So.
I think when he was looking at the finish shots, he was looking whether he could play the key shot. Probably in the frame was playing the plant in the middle. I'm not sure if it's actually on because obviously the red's quite close to the yellow. But that's definitely the key part of this frame. Obviously, if it is on there, I'll just pop this red, hold on the yellow. It'll be straight on the plant in the middle, and then it should be like ABC really. But
ABC. It should be ABC.
Should be.
I'm normally A, F, C, B, Y these days. Love a bit of ABC. That's nice. Might just be able to nudge that yellow a little bit just to free the black a little bit more.
Yeah, he could do that. I will.
I just screwed into it, to be honest.
I think he possibly just worried about tying the black up a little bit more. Obviously, the black does go anyway.
So, in terms of looking ahead and your goals, ambitions in the game, next year and beyond, what's your sort of number one priority? Would you like to be, number one in the rankings, or would you like to win the World Championship? What floats your boat?
Well, I got to number one on the tour last year.
Yep.
Obviously, just going back to the match, obviously Simon's missed the black. Even though it looked like a big pocket there, I don't think it was, Kev. So he had to cue the black in.
He would have been better thinner than thicker.
Yeah.
On that one.
For me, like in this position that Josh is in now with the frame, these are the key frames in matches that you should never lose as a player.
Yep.
When you've got 7 to 1 on these rules, because obviously you've got to try and get out of snooker all the time. These are key frames in any match really. Because if Simon ends up winning this frame, he actually forgets he's missed the black. So yeah, it's really important.
So, not a lot of room there for the white to go in. You can just see on that overhead shot.
Yeah.
With Dave's new super duper zoom in camera that does everything.
Yeah, it's very good. I don't think you can actually get to the black here, to be honest. I don't think there's actually a route to get to it.
We need that. Is it telestrator? Is that next year, Dave? Is that coming next year? We can draw a map on of how we can find a route there. Maybe something. Don't know if the angle's there, but
yeah, I think he's got to kind of jack up with so he can get like a lot of side on the cue ball and come off like free rails and obviously playing to the jaw, but.
This looks a good attempt. I tell you what, it's a very good attempt.
Yeah, it's a very tough shot.
Yeah.
In this scenario now, Josh has just got to, position his yellows. He's got time on his hands really. He can just position his yellows, and then on his last 2 shots, he just move the yellow by the black, and then he's got a lot of yellows to land on. That's what he'll be looking to do.
So would you be picking the white up, trying to move that yellow that's next to the black straight away and going for game, or do you think you need to just develop something else and then? Yeah,
I think it's a bit early to go now. but he's got to be careful that he doesn't. He wants to obviously every time he lays a snooker, he wants to make it basically impossible for Simon to hit the black, and obviously by moving this yellow that he's looking at now, that does give Simon a way out, because he can obviously just come up and down and hit the black. So obviously you've got to be careful, you know, when he lays a snooker now. I think that possibly the best snooker to do now is just develop this yellow on the side, cushioning between the yellow of the pocket and the yellow of the middle. Leave the white by the yellow in the middle, and you know, he's really struggling, to be honest. You just got to be careful that he nudges the yellow out. So we want to try and block the bottom cushion so he can't go. So he has left the shot now, to be honest. He's
left the upper treble.
Yeah, he come off the bottom rail, top rail,
yeah,
and hit the black. So he wanted to like stop that really, and whether he's thought about that or not, he may have just thought about the white, but there is definitely an escape there now.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. So yeah, the next committee meeting will be in the Maldives private jet. So I can just confirm that for all the non-believers. So there we go. I tell you what, it looks a good attempt.
Great.
It's just going to be
shot.
Yellow first. Unlucky.
Yeah, it was a good effort that was, to be honest. Obviously now you fully expect Josh to take the finish out now and just develop his first two yellows, and then he'll have quite an easy clearance really.
Yep. Dan Green, he's saying next step is a drone buzzing around the player's ears to get a view of the shot from. Can't we just get cameras on the cues? They do that in snooker, don't they?
Yeah. But yeah, going back to your question, Kev, about aspirations for next year. It'd be nice to get back to number one in the rankings again. And obviously, it would be obviously my main one would be to win the World Championships. The best I've done in that tournament is the semi-finals. So yeah, it'd be nice to win that really.
Yeah, it's starting to grow in stature, that event, after it started off well at Lakeside and then had a bit of a sticky one at Magna.
Yeah.
And then the last 2 years it's sort of settled down, started to grow now and sort of get to the almost the must attend event of the year sort of thing.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it, to be honest, because even though I have been playing for a long time, I feel older than I am sometimes, to be honest, but I've actually been playing for a long time. I've not actually played in that many World Championships. I played in probably, I think, 3 on the World Draw side. I think the best I did was like last 16, and I won the World Masters one in 2011 on the World Draw side, and I've played 3 on the IPA, or 4. But in comparison to how many years I've been playing, I've not actually played in that many. It's really it's exciting, obviously, to be involved in events like that, really. So.
And with the with the betting side of things now that's there, it's adds another dimension, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So easy block for Josh. That Simon will be a bit disappointed with that one. 3-1 to Josh Durrant. So thinking about the Worlds as well and the doubles, because your regular doubles partner is none other than the aforementioned Mr. Blurton, but you won't be allowed to partner him with him being a professional. Have you got a plan B? Have you got a reserve lined up?
Not as yet. Not as yet.
Do you want anyone on who's listening in to put themselves forward?
Put the applications in if you want.
Yeah, if you can with your CV and what you've achieved, and he will see if you make the short list to be his doubles partner for February next year. So Paul O'Brien's asking the question of you, Neil. Would you? You've maybe answered it, but we'll ask it directly. But would you rather be ranked number 1? And I guess with becoming number 1, you know, assuming that you win Tour Pro titles, or would you rather be world champion?
I'd rather be world champion, I think. Yeah. Even though to get to number 1, you're going to have to win more tournaments than win one tournament at the World Championships, but obviously the prestige of that tournament is, for me personally, outweighs winning multiple tours and pro events. Yeah. But obviously to get to number 1, obviously, you know, Mark Farnham's number 1 at the moment. I think he's been number 1 for 2 years now. You know, you have to be ultra consistent. Obviously, so many events that, you know, you have to be so consistent to get to that ranking. So obviously, it's a massive achievement.
Yeah. So just to mention, Nicky Ella, one of the tour players, has just become a dad to triplets.
Oh, congratulations!
All boys. He will need some luck. Tell you what, triplets. Yeah. Tell you what we're noticing as well now, I was mentioning it to Mark earlier in the stream, the speed at which some of these matches are being completed in, it's completely unprecedented. You know, we're getting best of 11s, 45 minutes, no problem in the amateur matches in the groups. There was one pro match that was something like 8-3 or 8-4, and it was done in 45 minutes. I mean, I guess that's the combination of everyone's playing better, the standards going up, the cloth, the rules.
Yeah. It is, yeah. So it's a testament to the standard being high, that the matches are not being long drawn out, and obviously the rules do help with that as well.
So we've got some cracking matches coming up later. So we'll get your views on some of these, then Neil, we'll put you on the spot.
Okay.
So next up is Harry Irwin, Michael Oliver.
Tough one for me, that really. Yeah, tough match that is. Obviously, you know, Harry can play some good stuff. But Michael was, I think Michael was ranked the number 1 amateur last year, wasn't he? So,
yeah,
you know, it's going to be a tough match. That is. It's not one I'd like to have a bet on, to be honest.
But we need you to call it.
I'd probably say Michael, if I had to have a bet.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of matches here that are really, really close to call. So we'll probably have probably be saying the same things again. So, you know, Ben Rowland, Jason Remington.
I think tough one again, really. I'd say that you know, obviously Ben can play really well. He's probably one of the most up-and-coming players on the tour. Obviously he's relatively young on the tour. But I think, you know, if Jason plays how he can play, obviously he's won the tour before. I think I'd have to say Jason, really.
Curtis Lee, James Hannay.
I'd say based on coming forward, I'd say Curtis would be favourite to win that match.
Yeah. James, I played James in Newcastle, and it's the first time I played him, and he's one of them players that you know, he's a big guy, as James, and you know, he's not your traditional. He's not getting down on the shot, but he's a canny player. Actually,
he can play. Yeah. I remember I actually won this tour before the British Open a couple of years ago when he was in Brighton, and I was actually late to the match, And I actually turned up first round against James Hannay. I was 2-0 down, and I've actually ended up winning that match 7-6. And he went in off the break at 6 each. And he played some good stuff in that match. To be fair to him, so he can play well.
He's had a couple of good results. He beat Simon Ward.
Did he? Yeah.
In Coventry, I think.
Oh, okay.
He's certainly beat him this year. So an interesting one. Steve Wall, Liam Dunster.
I'd have to say Liam. I'd have to say Liam. You know, he's a very solid player, and obviously one of the best players in Scotland. So I'd have to say Liam to win that match.
Do you think he's close to winning an IPA event?
I'm surprised he hasn't, to be honest, because he obviously does very well on the tournaments where a lot of the nations play, like the obviously their World Championships and the Europeans. I think he holds both of those titles, so I'm surprised he hasn't actually won an IPA event. But obviously that just shows that the standard, doesn't it? Again, it's so high, really. So, but I think it's just a matter of time before he does win one. It's just obviously, the first one is always the hardest. It was the hardest one for me. Before I won my first tour, I actually lost in 4 tour finals before I won my first one. So, you're always running into players all the time, top players. It's not like you beat a top player and the draw opens up. So, but I think he's that good that he will win one sooner or later. So,
Andrew McKee, Christian Phillips.
Tricky one again, really. Obviously, a few years ago, Christian was playing some really good stuff. I'm not sure how much he's actually playing now, because I know obviously he's got his own club now and he's probably busy obviously running that club, and Andrew McGee's obviously putting some hours in. I believe he goes down players in Stoke a little bit. He's practiced with Jimmy a little bit, so I'd probably say on current form I'd probably which is surprising to a lot of people, I'd probably say Andrew McGee.
And he did play well in some of the World Series qualifiers, didn't he? He pushed Mr. Farnsworth close. Yeah, I
think he lost in the last match, so or last but one match, but it was a close match,
Yeah, had a few good results. That could be a close one to call. Drew Hughes, Ryan Fleming.
Same again, really. It's a tough match again, to be honest. I wouldn't like to have a bet on these matches. But I've not really seen much of Ryan play, to be honest. But obviously Andrew Hughes, I've seen quite a bit of him play, because I've played him in like tour final and semi-final of the tour, and so if I had to have a bet, I'd probably go with Andrew Hughes.
I think Ryan played quite well at the last tour.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
So interesting one. Then I think this could be the match of the evening. John McAllister, Adam Brown.
I'd say on current form, and I'd say I'd have to go with John. I think John plays quite a few tournaments outside the tour, which is obviously helps him because he's always match fit. I think he's playing some good stuff. So I think I'd have a bet with John to win that match.
And last but not least, if he's not in India, we're still checking. But,
I believe he is.
In theory, it's Jack Wilkinson, Jack Whelan. But we're told that he's in India, so I'm not quite sure if that match is happening.
Yeah, I'd have to have a bet on Zach on that, I think, because I've been informed by John Chambers that he's definitely in India. So,
right. So we might have to find another match to fill that last slot then. Can't let Dave finish early. So we need to flog him to the end. Sweat the assets, I think they call it, don't they? Yeah, so some really tight matches, and if anyone's listening and was thinking, well, where's the Farnsworth, the Ben Davises, the Ronans, the Clints? Well, most of those will be seeded, and so they'll be through to Sunday. I think Ben Davis plays tonight. He plays Scott Dunbar, I think.
He does, yeah.
But so a lot of the the top 8 guys, Simon Ward, I'm trying to think of the names, Jordan Shepherd, they'll get a bye in the last 64. I think there's 56 pros here this weekend, so it just worked out that the top 8 all got a bye.
Yeah.
I was surprised you weren't in the top 8.
I was rubbish last year, that's right. But I'm getting back up there now. So
don't think there'll be any doubts next year, will there? So provision. Do you know what you are provisionally for next year?
I think I'm about 4th or 5th at the moment.
Yeah.
But obviously I've got 2 events this weekend. Of obviously two World Series events. I probably can get to like third or 4th really, realistically. I think Mark, Craig Marsh, and Roland. I think they're quite far ahead in terms of points. But realistically, I think I can get to about 4th. Yeah.
That's a good platform for to build on then for next year, isn't it? To head towards that #1 ranking.
Yeah.
So Josh has got a stranglehold on this match. He 4-1 up. A couple of errors from Simon.
I think if we look at pot this red in the middle, pot the red in the left hand corner, then pot the red down the bottom of the table, screw up, pot the red by the yellow, and then the red in the opposite middle, last ball, and I think the black goes in the left corner.
So if anyone's wanting to tune into the live scores, if you click the link on the Facebook page, that'll take you to the website where you can catch all the live scores in real time as they happen, because we've got the tablets up and running this weekend on every table.
Yeah, which is good to see. Yeah.
Finally managed to find a solution to our live scoring. So that's another tick in the box, and move on to the next one.
Okay.
So I know you've been here a while, Neil. Do you need to? Have you got any babies to feed? Is it your good lady okay?
Yeah, I better get off soon, to be honest, because daddy duties. Yeah.
So here's a question to finish on then.
Yeah.
Who would you say, and obviously excluding yourself out of this one, who would you say was the world's best player at Blackball currently on the tour? So Paul, he's stuck between Farnsworth and Boyle. What's your view on that one?
That'd be mine, to be honest. Obviously, there's not much between them. I think not much between them at all. Obviously, Mark Ball's got a fantastic break, which could be the deciding factor sometimes. But like someone like Clint up there as well as one of the best players as well. So there's a lot of players in the mix you could talk about. Someone like who maybe not doing necessarily great at the moment. Someone like Gareth Ibbots, he's brilliant. He's probably not had the season he hoped for, but in my eyes, he's up there with one of the best players on the tour. And at the highest level, it is all in the day, to be honest. So
yep, certainly Clint has been playing some pretty good stuff in the last 2 tours.
Yeah.
He looks to have been back to his very highest levels again.
Yeah, definitely. I think he changed his break, so he started like cut breaking, and he's probably not playing much better than what he was. He's probably just getting more chances, to be honest. So he's getting more balls off the break, so he's getting more table time, and obviously getting more table time, he can bully his opponents, and he's winning matches easy. So.
So in terms of actually getting to that top spot, then what does it take to get there? You've obviously been there before. What's it take to get to the top?
I think it's just consistency, really. Obviously, that's Mark Farnsworth is #1. He's the most consistent player on the tour. Fully deserves the #1 ranking. Obviously, we've got that many tournaments now. That #1 ranking is over 5 tours, 5 pro events, 6 World Series events, and a World Championships. So obviously, all them tournaments, to be #1 ranked, you fully deserve it, because you can't. You're not like obviously 2 or 3 events where you fluctuate to #1. You have to be ultra consistent to get to it. Well, I think the key thing is for me that when you're playing matches, you should never lose frames that that you shouldn't lose. Basically, like in this scenario, Josh has missed the red. Simon should never lose his frame, and I think that's so important to being consistent and doing well on the tour, that you win all the frames you should win. And then if you nick a couple that you shouldn't win, like you take a really good finish out, you're always going to be tough to beat. And obviously, breaking well's a good part of that as well, because obviously if you got a really good break, you can get a lot of free finishes and free frames. But I think in these scenarios, you need to always win the frames that you should win, basically. Because it does hurt your opponent as well. And if Josh, in this example, Josh did come back and win this frame, he actually forgets he's missed the red. Yeah. And he feels good again. So I think that's really a key factor for doing well, basically.
So what would you advise sort of up and coming players, or on who are got a decent standard, but how they can actually become better? What's your golden rule, if there's one thing that you would recommend for somebody to, plays in the pub, wins a few frames, and knows how to pot a ball. What's your advice for them? I
think obviously you need to practice, you need to put the hours in. I'm a big believer you get out of the game what you put in, try and practice with good players, really. And I know obviously not everyone's in a fortunate area where they can do that, whereas I mean, me personally, I've always been pretty lucky, really, where I've lived, because obviously when I used to live in the West Midlands way, I had obviously Mick Hill, Rob Chilton, and another guy who was really good, like Sean Italy's on the tour. So and now I live in Stoke, and I've got Gareth Potts, Adam Davis, Lee Kendall. So I've always been pretty lucky in terms of practice partners. But I think if you can, it is important to obviously practice with good players. So I think that would increases your standard, basically. So, but obviously if you're not in that position to do that, just obviously due to where you live, I think just practice as much as you can, and try and enter as many tournaments as you can, really, and get that match experience under your belt. And because it is a different mindset in terms of playing a match and having a practice down the club.
It's cute.
So yeah, just play in as many events as you can, really. So that would be my advice. Yeah.
Well, you heard it there from former #1 player who's seeking to get that position back over the coming months. Neil Rayburn. So some great advice there. Neil, thanks for your time, and we were only looking for a 5-minute chat, but we've taken a little bit more of your time, so apologies for that.
Yeah, no problem.
But, it's always great to catch up and get your thoughts on everything. So thanks for your time, and good luck this weekend, and hopefully we might chat again maybe Saturday night or Sunday evening time.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. Thanks, Kev.
Thanks a lot, Neil.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers. Bye. So there you heard it there, Neil Rayburn. One of the very top players, one of the elite players, who thoroughly enjoyed his time in Morocco from the sounds of it, and newfound popularity, no doubt a lot of new friend requests on Facebook. So great to hear his thoughts on that, and one or two other things. Hope you enjoyed that. So break from Josh. Another ball potted again. I mean, ultimately it's different. It's different for every player. Some players will need a lot of practice. Some people just need to learn the rules and learn how to play the rules. But I think one thing that he did say was right. You do get out what you put in, and I think that goes for anything, pool, anything in life. It's a great motto. I think that. So work hard, and the rewards will come. Pool doesn't have to cost a lot. You can go down to your local club, play for maybe £4 or £5 an hour, share that with your practice partner, and there are low value competitions that you can enter, build your experience, build your knowledge, and then there will come a point when the time is right to move on to bigger and better things. Such a great game to play into. We all love the game, and we all love playing. That's why we're here. Well done, David Thompson. He won one of the flyers at Blue Dolphin, an event I personally went to many times when it was at Reeton Sands. I was fortunate enough to win the main event twice. So yeah, it was a great event up there, run by Paul Campbell and his team. I think was it last week, Blue Dolphin? It was just recently, I think. My advice would be to, when you practice, to treat the practice as serious as you would as if you were playing a match. I used to play a friend of mine called Mick Vidal. We used to just play for £1-2, just a set, but just gives it that little extra incentive to win. You don't have to play for £10,000 like some of these boys. £1 or £2 can change the mindset. It certainly can in Yorkshire anyway. I would always say it's always about the quality of the practice rather than the quantity. But you certainly learn a lot from watching all these top players, watching the patterns, watching how they go about taking finishes. Meanwhile, just DURRANT just slightly out of position. Great shot there from the new overhead camera that can zoom into any part of the table. Can it get inside the table? Can we just have a look at the how a table's made? So he's been forced to take this one over the rail first. I think he would have preferred to have taken that last, but again, he would have just liked a little bit more pace on that one. Just needs to get the white into any of this right hand bottom quadrant of the table. I think the cloth will let him play this shot. He can dig into this. He didn't quite get through it. He didn't get through that shot. Is that classed as an unforced error? Because he didn't. You're not having that. No. I think you're too lenient there. He's played a treble. Ooh, that's a missed pot. Even though it was a treble. It's a tough school. So we're just going to watch the treble attempt. He just hit it too hard, so that when it came off the second cushion, it just checked back. So he's just taking a little bit of pace off. That would have had a more of a chance. David Thompson's asking, you get to see a lot of amateur games over the course of the weekend. Is the standards of the amateurs improving much? Well, quite categorically, the answer to that is yes. I mean, there's a lot of amateurs who are professional standard players, without a doubt, and we see more and more of those players as time goes on. So yeah, I think it is, and as we were commenting earlier about the speed of the matches, everyone's dishing for fun. So yeah, the standard overall, everyone's having to raise the game. When people like Farnsworth and Boyle are around, everyone's got to step up, haven't they? So it drives everyone's standards up, which is great. So Simon, come on now, let's get you back into this match. If you're in the club, you're getting these every day of the week. Just needs to relax. He just seems a little bit tense. Just needs to relax, play his game. Kev, am I concerned about numbers for the tour with new big money club tours on the rise? Yes, and no. One, can't really class it as a tour, can they, if it's just held in a club, in the same club. There's some clubs that, now, to be careful what I say here, but I think there's some individuals who are trying to promote big money events who really shouldn't be doing it, who just are doing it for the wrong reasons. Just a personal view. But yeah, we have to be mindful, but the bottom line is if we want the sport to get anywhere, it will be through the IPA and not through a club running an event or series of events. They've got there's no structures in place there, and just sticking a camera on a table in a club is not going to really cut it with driving the game forward. Clubs have to do it. They're a business at the end of the day. They've got to do stuff, but it's not going to affect what we're trying to do. And no one's got an audience reach like we have. Nobody gets 170 countries watching their World Championships like we do, and nobody's done more for this game than we have in the past few years. It's gone dry. So yeah, we're mindful of it, we're aware of it. You know, we're looking at things as well that we can do for the pros, maybe on a similar vein, but obviously if we do it, it has to be to our standard, and so we'll watch this space on that one. I still think that you know, despite one or two issues that we've had this year with the tour, you know, things that, you know, we will rectify, that you know, people still see this as the premier place to play. These events provide something that nobody else even comes close to. You know, they've got the media coverage, you've got the stream stroke TV coverage, you've got the arena, you've got the conditions, you've got the setup, you've got the website, you've got the viewers, you've got the audience. It's just the whole package. It's you know, without, I don't want to blow our own trumpet because we're still got a long way to go, but you know, my view is that if this sport is to get to where we all want it to be, it will be the IPA that delivers it. And if the players, you know, the players decided that they didn't want to support the IPA and wanted to play in other events instead, I think that would be foolish of them, to be honest, because as I said, you know, you can't promote the sport that's run from a club. There's just no future in that. It's just short term, you know, short term stuff. Just my view. I have to be careful what I say as well, because I can't really give my own personal views for obvious reasons. But yeah. It's the IPA Secretary, Mark Pickworth. Welcome back.
How are we doing, Kev? I've just been to freshen up.
Oh, you smell nice.
I know.
Have you been in my toiletry bag?
No, not me. Definitely not. I bet you've got some Old Spice in there, haven't you?
Old Spice. I'm a Brook guy.
Oh, right, sorry.
So
have we missed much then, Kev?
Well, it's been a bit bits and piecey. Simon's will be a bit disappointed with his performance. Josh is putting well from the break. He's playing the more solid of the two.
That's it.
Simon missed a black he shouldn't have missed, and sort of not really got it back. So he's got all on with Simon. I think he'll be disappointed with his performance. It doesn't seem to have relaxed. He just seemed a little bit tense to me.
I see.
I think he's playing the situation more than the match.
I see.
So you can tell him it's his round if he loses a match.
I think he knows that anyway.
So we've been asked about the corner pockets and why they're black and what is it. So we'll just we'll answer that maybe at the end of this frame, and we'll get Dave to zoom in so we can have a little closer look.
That's a good idea.
Mm. Luke Johnson, familiar name from the tour. He's asking about getting on the tour next year, but can't commit to all the dates. Can he just enter a few?
Well, as it is, Luke, we do like you to enter all of them, and it's pretty much that's what we have to do now. It's a first come first served basis, so hopefully you can make them all. I mean, it's still quite cheap if you only can enter 4 anyway, isn't it?
Well, it's still the same price.
Yeah.
But still good value for what you get. The only way you could enter one-offs is if anyone drops out, sort of, close to the event, and we would advertise that, and that again would be on a first come first served basis. And but we can't guarantee there will be any.
That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. You're better off just signing up for the tour, and then you guarantee it, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah, well, not. Right, and camera 4 then.
Right, so just looking at the pocket there, so you can see the sort of black and grey pattern on it. So that corner pocket would normally be shiny steel or whatever they're made of, and that has been hydro dipped. So similar sort of process to what they put alloy wheels in. So you may have seen videos. I've seen a few videos doing the rounds. So they put alloy wheels in and they bring it in this liquid that's obviously been treated and whatever. And and it comes out with this pattern on, and that's what they've been done. So they've been hydro dipped.
Where's he come up with that idea, Alan? With it?
Yeah, it's Alan Yates, who from 8 Ball Direct, who did the table. So he wrapped it. So the table is wrapped in some real high quality material that came from Germany. Wrapped, yeah, with some logos, stickers on, and then the hydro dipped corners. So this table will be sold after this event. It already is sold, and then next year's table will have something even more bizarre on.
Yeah, he has mentioned a few bits about that. Nothing, he's not let too much away though, has he?
He's just given us a few teasers.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. You just let him do his own thing, don't you?
Within reason. You have to start vetting.
Oh, I see. I'm sure he's not doing anything naughty.
Yeah, yep. So he's got. Yeah, so that'll be the first site anyone will have of that will be at the World Championships.
Yep.
So disappointing shot there from Simon.
Yeah, I don't think he's on this, is he?
No.
He's going to have to swerve it. He's definitely not going to be in ideal position after the shot.
So here's a question for you then from Paul O'Brien. If Blackball becomes the next big thing in Q Sports and gets televised, good prize money, etc., do you think we'll see some of the players come back who we've lost to 9-ball and Chinese 8-ball?
That's definitely a good question. I mean, we'll never stop anybody from coming back, Kev, will we? So we don't tell anyone what they can do, so everyone's free for the wall.
Yeah. I think, if this game had been developed properly 20 years ago, then I'm pretty certain that a lot of those that went to 9-ball wouldn't have gone, because there would have been, enough events in our version of pool to keep them occupied and keep them happy. But because it was completely mismanaged, through the embassy era and all that sort of stuff, in my view, complete mismanagement. And so we're sort of having to pick up the pieces from that legacy, I think. And I think we've got a chance to make it big. We've got a chance. I'm not saying we will, but I think we've got a chance. And at least now we've got everyone fighting in the right direction. Everyone's pulling the same way, and the politics and stuff side of things is not really an issue anymore now. And to be honest, if those players didn't come back, it wouldn't really matter, because we just create the new stars of tomorrow. So, but yeah, I think there will be some that will come back, some wouldn't. I mean, Chinese 8-ball. There's only really Gareth Potts who the sport has lost completely, which is obviously a great shame to Chinese pool. The other guys are dipping in and out of it as and when the comps come up, and why wouldn't they? But again, even if we had great events, they'd probably still go to China anyway. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, those players will just do what's right for them, their personal circumstances, and. But yeah, that's the aim, is to get exactly what you alluded to. Quality events, excellent prize money, and where people can earn a living from it. Proper professional players, and we were close to that with the Coral scenario, and for whatever reason, it didn't quite come off. But Corals weren't alone in what they viewed what we could offer. We know other major companies like what we offer. It's just finding the right company at the right time. And if we keep growing and developing as we are doing, then we will get that bit of luck.
Just keep trying.
Yeah, I think it's probably potentially closer than we think, but ultimately it is finding the right company, right time, bit of luck. Those three elements, because we've got a great product, we've got great raw materials. We've got all the elements that we need to create a great product, and ultimately money is the enabler. But you don't get the money without getting all the other bits and pieces in place first.
No.
We'd all like it to work differently, but it unfortunately doesn't work like that. People just can't just throw money at you for without getting any value and getting any return back. So you've got to create the value, which is it takes time. But all our numbers, stats, the viewing figures, website hits, all that sort of stuff. All the numbers are all heading in the right direction, and at quite a rate of knots. So if we keep on that trajectory, then sooner or later companies will just have to get on board.
Yeah, take a punt.
Yeah. Here we go. So I can't talk about mismanagement when I have several players still waiting to pay out from the world champs. Oh, where to start? Don't believe everything you read on Facebook, that's all I say, folks. And maybe if there are one or two who haven't, maybe ask them to send me the bank details and we might be able to help them, but unless they can send me them, then there ain't a lot I can do. And I can talk about mismanagement because when we took over, I'm going to get on my soapbox now. When we took over from the previous people, there was a £28,000 black hole. So you tell me how that wasn't mismanagement. And the only way they dealt with that was to cancel pro events that we'd already paid for. And then we inherited a part of that because some of the events were still ongoing. Ooh. And when you think about all the money that Embassy put in at the time, where's the legacy from it? There is no legacy. It was just wasted and disappeared.
Yeah, Embassy was massive then, weren't it?
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. What you shouldn't do is just believe everything that you read on Facebook. If anybody wants to know a fact, they can just ask me direct. Give them a straight answer.
Oh, it's alright, definitely. Be on his Blackball blogger if he gets it.
It's not in.
It's definitely not in.
But he's played at a good pace.
It's not bad white either.
I'll answer this next question after this frame's ended, whilst I'm still on my box. No.
It's gone safe.
Safe.
Chance then. He's going to leave this time. Is he? No, he's not. Oh. I don't think he's got. He's looking like it's come off the cushion, but I don't think even that's on. Both getting away with it.
Yep. Simon who needs the running at the moment.
He's taking this on. No, he's not.
Oh,
I thought he was.
He's going to leave a double. I thought he just glanced off that and white up the table. Looks good. Looks very good.
It's there.
Well done, Simon.
He looks relieved he's got that one.
Yep, he's hanging in there. Right then, so let's address some of these questions. So right, rumours about people not being paid. Right, I'll tell you what the reality is. So when we planned for this year, we assumed that we were going to be receiving a certain amount of money from Corals that we received in 2016. Because up to that point, up to sort of October, November time, everything was still going ahead with Corals. So we built a certain amount of money, income, into that plan. So at that point then, the tour was full. And then around December time, it sort of became clear that things were we weren't getting any answers from Corals, so things were starting to get a little bit uncertain, for want of a better word. So we had the choice then. So we built this money in. So it was around 30k. And we were either going to reduce prize money or going to try and manage the situation. So what we did want to do was to reduce prize money. So what we did was try to manage the situation. So I don't think it needs a rocket scientist to work out that trying to manage a £30,000 gap is quite a challenge. And it has been a challenge, absolutely has been a challenge. And you know, all businesses rely on good cash flow. And you know, it's been a difficult. I don't know what else to say apart from it's been difficult, but it's been difficult, and we've done the best we can. So I would say that virtually it's not about that people haven't been paid. It's been they've been slow to be paid, which is probably more to the point. Yes, there's one or two people who haven't been paid, but you know, in the grand scheme, 99% of players have. So that is ultimately the underlying reason why we've had our challenges this year. So next year's plan incorporates the fact that obviously we're not going to get that money. So we've slightly reduced the prize money. We've cut some of our costs down. Entry fees have gone up £10. So we've done a bit of tweaking here and there to plug that gap. So next year, you know, we won't have the same issues. We had a few unexpected costs as well that hit us in terms of the haulage and storage. You know, thousands of pounds that it's cost us that we didn't expect for one reason or another. So you know, it's been we've been hit from in a few places. So you know, we've just had to do the best we can. So we've explained that to the amateurs and the professional players, and you know, that's basically all we can do. We can learn from it, dust ourselves down, and make sure that next year it's a lot better, which it will be. So yeah, a few short-term problems this year, but we'll be back next year with. And you know, people will be paid in a timely manner, which they should be. So it's pretty much as simple as that. You know, you can call it bad planning, you can call it whatever you want, but that's what's happened this year. So whatever the reason, it's scandalous that players don't get paid out on the day. It's unheard of. Well, you're living in cuckoo land. Absolutely living in cuckoo land. You know, you just can't carry that much amount of cash in these sort of places and expect people to stand in a line like they did in the old days. You know, we have technology now and online banking, so that every payment can be tracked. You know, we can't be paying out. You know, carrying £20,000 of cash around in our pockets, and you know, the risk that there is around that, and you know, we're not in that world anymore. Maybe in some people's world it is. You know, this is not a local knockout where you've got you know, 16 people to pay. There's probably about 80 people who probably won't pay in. 32, 64, well, there could potentially 96 payments, isn't there? So no, it's not how we do it. You know, we have technology to do all that sort of stuff. So why? So someone's saying, well, you maybe should scrap the World Series because even Farnsworth thinks it's a waste of time. Well, whilst Mark's view on World Series is his view, what Mark doesn't quite grasp is why we do World Series. We are the International Professional Association, not the UK Professional Association. We have to think outside the box. Part of what we do and why we do it is because of our WPA recognition, which is we feel is important to us, and that gives us our credibility. So World Series is a long-term goal. You know, yes, it's had its problems, but you know, we've only been doing it for a year and a bit. So you know, people are very quick to judge it and say this and that about it. But you know, even Neil Rayborn was saying, you know, if you were listening half an hour ago, you know, the event in Morocco and Cyprus were absolutely superb. So yes, well, Mark, you know, and even Mark himself put a really positive comment on Facebook about it. So so yeah, it's work in progress. You know, it needs to be refined, and there'll be some more changes to it next year again, little tweaks as we go on.
Yeah, and the changes were all discussed at the AGM this year, weren't they? So for next year, so you know, we've took it all on board and we're going to implement them, aren't we?
Yeah. You know, we're quite happy to, you know, we're not happy to, but you know, we recognise we don't get everything right. It's not our full-time job, and you know, we do the best we can, and you know, we've done pretty well. Oh, I just missed that by a mile, but you know, we've still got a lot to improve on, and you know, Rome wasn't built in a day, so they say. So you know, and if you don't like what we do, it's absolutely fine. And you know, there's plenty of places you can go watch, play pool these days. You know, so you know, we're doing our thing. We're trying to do the best we can. We think we're heading in the right direction, despite, you know, one or two issues that we're always going to get, because we're always trying to push the boundaries. You know, we're not ones for just sitting here and churning out the same old stuff year after year after year. So you know, some people don't like that. That's fine. But, wow, I'm lucky. Lee Kendall's comp winner got paid out in cash, and then 10k. Well, good for them. How many people were in it? I think did he pay 16 people? Or, you know, if that works for them, that works for them. Just doesn't work for us. He probably got a safe, and they've got the time to do it. But
I think there's only about 8 people that got paid out.
yeah. So if he wants to deal in cash, then maybe that says more about him. We deal with it electronically, so everything can be monitored.
Plus, he's doing it in his own premises, isn't he? You know, we're doing it in like a place of back and beyond. We don't know where we are, do we?
He's not really comparing apples with apples.
No.
Yeah, that's a good point that Daniel makes. You know, a bit crazy to hand out £10,000 in cash to someone in a publicly organised event.
It's a bit like these money matches, isn't it? You know, it's just ridiculous amount of money that changes hands there, isn't it?
Yeah. Look at what's happened with some of the money that's gone missing and stuff.
Yeah.
In recent money matches. So, in our view, the less cash around, the better.
That's what we've agreed to do, so we're going to continue doing that anyway, aren't we? Make sure that we play with the technology.
Yep. Lee Kendall's a club owner. He has to do what's right for his club. We're the IPA. We do what's right for the sport.
It's a bit like the snooker players, isn't it? Winning to 150,000, £250,000. I bet there's no cash hanging over there, is there?
Yeah, and just see Barry saying to Selby, there you go, here's your wheelbarrow. Oh, Simon. So that is the last rites of this match. So Lee, if you've got any more issues, come on, bring it on. Don't mind, you know, we're pretty much an open book here, but we make mistakes. We don't get everything right, but what you'll get is complete open honesty and transparency, 'cause there's nothing to hide here, no shady dealings, none of that. It's all there in black and white. Yeah, I'm just going to show the black again, how close this was. You had to really dig into that just to avoid being off. Oh, he's overcut.
Yeah.
He's just completely lost it at the moment, Simon.
And they're not falling nice for him after either.
We've all been there. When you've gone, it's so hard, isn't it? It's so hard. The next question's on corals. We'll just wait for this shot from Josh, and then we'll get on to corals, because that won't be that's not a simple yes or no answer. It looks close, but no. Near side.
Oh, Simon.
Right then, I think this could be his last chance.
I don't think he's perfect on this, though, is he? I don't think it's that straight, is it? Yep, the double.
Just watch the double. So yeah, it was probably 3 or 4 inch off that.
One thing, if he misses his chance, he'll probably not get another one.
Yeah, this is definitely the last one. Just relax and play the shot. I think he's got the right angle.
He's on it.
He's played
He's
it well.
Shot. He's got a
played
shot.
it well.
He's got a shot. Just draw this in.
Just gone.
Sure, his heart was in his mouth there. Wow, that's another one on the board.
7-4.
Scrappy, but
He's still hanging in there. Right, oh, here we go. So, corals. Well, we'll do some of these quick ones. Does anyone at the IPA take a wage? No, is the answer to that one. Yes, we all volunteer. We get expenses covered, of course. But no, there's no wages. So, coral. So where do we start? So we'd had a few meetings with them. So after the Worlds last year. So basically we got to around July time, June, July time last year, and we had agreed what the way forward was going to be. So it was a three-year deal, and they'd pretty much agreed to everything that we'd proposed, just apart from one event type, which we changed, and then they agreed to that afterwards. So we pretty much got a 3-year program of events, I guess is a way of wording it. So me and our press officer, Sean Travass, were invited out to Gibraltar to go meet the wider team, the people who we'd be working with. So the marketing team, the activation managers, all these different people. So for all, in effect, it was a done deal. Everything was agreed there and then. I've got the emails, etc. So in terms of getting the contract signed, their contracting department had a 6-month waiting list with all the other stuff that we're doing. So that was to be done, but at a later date. And so we came back from Gibraltar, everything was agreed, and at Gibraltar they actually agreed to extend that 3-year deal to a 5-year deal. So that was all agreed by the people in that room, and so just before the Warwick event, we asked them if we could announce the events, to which they said yes. They wanted to get them out there, get people talking about them, start the publicity machine, and so that was that. So that was why we did it, with their blessing. So in terms of getting the contract signed within the timescales, it was physically impossible because it would have been early this year at the earliest before anything would have been in place. So that's where we were. So that's what we announced, and even up to the last tour. The last tour in at Brighton, where they sent a couple of girls down, a couple of choral girls down, who were handing out T-shirts and a bit of PR stuff.
Some free bets as well, weren't there?
Yeah, there were some free bet offers and what have you. And then we did some work with some of the first team football players at Fulham, who, because they are partners with Corals. So that was all filmed and recorded by Coral TV. I can't remember if that was before Brighton or just after, but it was around October, November time. So even at that stage, everything was still going ahead, and then pretty much it all went quiet. We couldn't get hold of anyone. The merger was gathering full pace. People were sort of worried for their own jobs. We were just a very small fish in a very big pond. They were more bothered about their jobs, and rightly so, rather than whether we were going to agree what the next stage was in this deal. Over the next sort of couple of months, 2-3 months, it became apparent that the people who we were dealing with had either moved on, changed jobs. So we didn't know where we were. I mean, we were sort of beginning to fear the worst at this point. And to cut a long story short, the new people who came into post had a different view of life, and had other priorities that they wanted to focus on, and so we were sort of at the back of the queue. So it's obviously there, so they're still pricing our events up, which is good kudos still for us, even though it's not the result we want. It's still good kudos for us, and obviously great for players and fans of the sport that they can bet on the matches. And So, but you know, that's given us opportunity to look down other avenues in terms of the betting, which we have done, and you know, we've been speaking to other people, and I think ultimately we know we've got something, and we know we've got a product, we've got something, what we're offering that interests them, and that they can make money on, and that our players can make money on. So everyone wins. So, so that's where we're at. It's nice from Simon. 7-5. So that's pretty much the story. So we'll see what happens. You know, over the next couple of months. I think I'm 99% certain that I think we will have something in place for next year with someone. I think probably around end of November there'll be some sort of announcement around that. But yeah, it was a great shame, and you know, for me personally, I'd put 6 months of work into that, from pretty much February time to September time, looking at different things. So yeah, it was a bit of a cruel blow to us, and you know, we were pretty much simply unlucky. So yeah, it took a while to get over, I must admit, on a personal level, but we just have to dust ourselves down and keep going, and look for the next opportunity.
Yeah, because they spent a lot of money on some kit, didn't they, just so they could get our stream out there live, didn't they? You know, so there weren't any delays.
Mm.
So they did give us all the indications, didn't they?
Yeah. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it was a done deal, and you know, people can criticise us for announcing it, but you know, we with what Coral were telling us, what they told us specifically about the announcement, it seemed the right thing to do at the time, so we did. If we'd have waited for a contract, we'd have had to wait until, you know, sort of January, February time this year, and then it would have been too late. So we were sort of in a bit of a... It's one of those, it's just a judgment call at the end of the day, isn't it?
Like I said, it's done now, we're on to the next chapter.
Yeah. But, you know, it's quite, you know, there's no... I think I'm quite confident thinking that we didn't really do anything wrong. We didn't ask for too much money, or we didn't go in with ridiculous expectations, or you know, I think everything was very business focused, and you know, it represented great value for money for Corals, and obviously a great opportunity for the IPA and its players. So yeah, I think you know, reflecting back, I don't think we particularly did anything wrong. It was simply just really bad timing. So tough one to take, that one. Tough one to take. And quite ironically as well, apparently, somebody rang me up last week that one of the Corals adverts that was on Sky Sports featured 8-ball pool. I mean, where's the sense in that? 6 months too late. So that's pretty much the Coral story. Close but no cigar. Simon's looking down a dark channel here if he can't get through to there.
I think he can.
Can he get through?
Yeah, I think he can.
I think he can as well.
Tell you what, he's got a second wind here.
He has.
Swerving it a little bit. Is it there? Is it there? Has it got enough legs? No.
Oh,
God.
So Coral, there's no contract in place with Coral as such at the moment. They're just pricing up our events. We have tried to get back round the table with them, but I think their focus is basically elsewhere now. That's not to say they never will, but I think you know, a lot of these big betting companies, they have different projects that they sort of want to focus on, and it's whether, you know, you can fit in with their other priorities. That, you know, they call it roadmaps, and you know, they'll have a roadmap agreed, you know, for, you know, like blocks of time for maybe 5-6 months, and you know, they primarily focus on delivering their roadmaps before they move on to anything else. So when we talk about timing, you know, finding the right company at the right time, you know, I talked to one big betting company who really liked what we were doing, what we were offering, and you know, I had 2 or 3 meetings with them, so that's how much they liked it. Because if they didn't, they just wouldn't bother, because they're too busy, these people. And they had started to do a lot of in-play tennis betting, and
What's your shot?
yeah.
Oh,
What a
shot.
That is, what a shot. That is one for the crowd, that one. Finish it off with the black.
It's there.
Excellent, that is
Very good.
I can
There's
see
a
that
replay
shot
of that
appearing
shot.
on
There it is.
blackballblogger.com.
There it is.
What a shot that was. 7-6 from 7-2.
He looked down and out as well, didn't he? His
He was all over
body
the place.
language and everything was gone, wasn't it?
He was absolutely all over the place.
Now then, it's a big break, this one.
Well, Adam, it might sound like rubbish, the 6-month contract, but believe me, if you see how that company work, you wouldn't be surprised. I think it wasn't just the contracting, it was the legal department as well. I think the two had some sort of backlog. So they had no reason to lie, because if they were going to lie, they would have just said no. Because what initially got them got their juices going was the amount of revenue that they took after the Worlds. So it was so when they did the Worlds for the first time, 2016, so they just planted the odds up on the morning that the event started, and so there was no publicity, you know. I mean, we didn't even know. So there was no publicity, there was no you know, marketing, there was no TV. But yet, in the revenues that they took, it was 50% of what they'd taken for the Mosconi Cup. So obviously the Mosconi Cup with the big, you know, matchroom machine, Sky Sports, etc. behind it. So they knew there was money to be made. So and it was, you know, it fit with their you know, existing business. So it made complete commercial business sense for them to potentially own, in inverted commas, you know, 99% of a niche sport, as opposed to the you know, 1% of football that they have. So yeah, it made complete business sense. So hopefully that's answered the Coral question. I think it's just disappointing. You know that the opportunity. I think it's a massive lost opportunity for them. You know, you think about all the football clubs that they're partnering up with now. I think they're up to about 11 or 12 now. Corals. I see it on LinkedIn. You know, every week, a new club. You know, the work and publicity we could have done with the clubs, and what that could have generated for us in awareness for the IPA and the players could have been immense. But you never know. You never know. So this is a. This is a good opportunity now for Josh to finally get over the winning line. Played that well. Oh, they always go on the cushion, don't they?
Just made this tricky now.
Yeah, if that's an inch off the cushion, this becomes a lot easier.
Yeah.
He could end up being on the wrong side here.
Yeah.
I think he can just miss the yellow, but he's got a cutie nice. Just hit it a bit thick.
Yeah, he's got a shot here, but white is definitely on the move.
Yeah, although I think if he plays it with loads of bottom, he can probably use the yellow near that bottom right corner as a buffer.
Yeah.
But this is not easy.
Anything could go here, can it?
Yeah. And he'll be thinking, God, I don't want 7-0.
The best shot he could play is half ball off the yellow. I mean, it makes the pot tougher, definitely. You know, to the bottom right corner. That's the one with the natural position. But I think he's going to go for your shot and go for the cannon. I think there is some percentage in that.
Big shot. Missed it by a mile. Yeah. That's pressure.
Right, easy.
That is
He's
pressure.
going to be in some trouble here as well. This ain't going to be an easy shot to get out.
I tell you what, I think we're going deciders. Deciders. Yeah, you see, you missed that. Are we any of the big guns missing in this event? It's only Jack Whelan. I believe he's in India. Andy Lucas, has he gone to Catalonia?
He goes this weekend, I think.
Is he? But certainly all the big names we'll start to see later tonight and tomorrow in the Open and the professional event Sunday. Is there any chat going on for any kind of TV coverage for the IPA? There's always chat about TV coverage. I think ultimately, you know, getting on TV is not particularly difficult. It's all about finding the money to pay Dave, isn't it?
Yeah, oh, definitely, yeah.
It's all about Dave. But in all seriousness, it is about finding the money to pay for the TV, you know, the editing and the production. And, you know, to get that money, you need sponsors. To get sponsors, you need to provide value. To provide value, you need to grow things like stream numbers. So it's a bit chicken and egg. And unless there's any sort of, you know, millionaire who wants to, you know, throw a few quid our way, then it's all about growing the right way, and making it. You know, I think if we do it the right way, it'll make everything more sustainable in the future. So yes, we all would like TV tomorrow, but it's there's a process to get there. Unfortunately, there's no quick fix. Has he left a nibble?
It's only a little swerve, I think, isn't it?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, we'll try and get Marshy in the commentary box whenever we see him.
Yeah, he's not here yet, is he? I haven't seen him.
No, not yet. No, he'll be able to tell us about his wedding plans.
Might be the end of his karaoke career.
The end of a few things when you get married.
Oh dear. Let's not get into that one. What's the weather like in Devon anyway? Is it back on yet?
Yeah, so Darren Flighty just saying they've had the Strachan 861 put on one of their club tables, but they're not using the right brushes. Yep, you need to use the X1. That is the proper pad. Basically, it's like a suction, so it works on friction, and it sucks up the chalk from the cloth. Quite amazing. Not cheap, but they do last quite a long time. But if you think you don't have to pay for an iron, and all the time that you spend ironing tables, it's I think they pay for themselves pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely. We'd have some for sale, Kev, didn't we? But they've all gone, haven't they?
Yeah. Here's a good question. Everyone's got a bogey player, so this is for you, Mark. Who is your bogey player?
It was a good shot.
Great shot. Great shot.
I said he left that little swerve, didn't he?
Yeah. Simon will be. But I mean, this needs to be even better. What a great shot that was. Great control of the swerve.
So then, bogey player then. Are you going to say yours after then?
Ronan's a bit of a bogey player. Although I was looking through some old magazines 6 months ago, and apparently I beat him about 7-1 about 8 years ago.
Right.
But I'm pretty certain every time I've played him since he's absolutely stuffed me the same. So probably Ronan for me.
Well, for me, probably be Farnsworth. I must have played him 5 or 6 times on the tour. The last time I played him, it was just like one frame in it. But he just produces something different just towards the end. He really does. I'm sure Mark's a bogey player for a few players.
I don't think he'd be alone in that one. Yeah.
Definitely not.
So what's his options on this black?
Depends how much you can see of it, but wow.
What's he got on? A back double into the middle bag.
They're definitely looking at a pot. The only problem is the white again is going to be all over, as you can get some sort of control on it.
Gone for the slice. Oh,
yellow,
there we go. There we go.
Could be
Some early afternoon drama. So all them people who are at work watching this, there's not going to be much production in the UK this afternoon, is there?
Definitely not. It's pretty good. Now then.
Right, his heart is going to be pumping a few extra beats at the moment.
Oh yeah, because he was out of this match, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Completely out of it. It's okay there.
It's perfect. So next match on, waiting patiently, Harry Irwin, Michael Oliver. So they might have thought they would have been on 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, it could easily have been, couldn't it?
So
yeah, Harry's been sat down there a while actually.
it just depends where he wants to put that middle one of the three, and when. It's the only real thinking he's got to do on this one.
I think he'd liked it next ball, hasn't he? But I don't think he's got the angle to stun it down, has he?
Right, so it's all about this positional shot.
Is there going to be some more drama in this frame? Just slow down. Not
Yeah,
bad.
he's going to be happy with that.
Yeah, don't
Going to
look
like
bad.
this.
It's a little nick off the cushion.
All of it. But he's got this black for 7-all.
Yes.
We're going into... Is it Blackball shootout?
Okay. Can't be. It's just a break as well, isn't it?
Yep, Josh has just gone for a very quick comfort break. So, 7-all. Who would have predicted that? 7-2. Some great character shown by Simon. Because at 7-2 he was all over the place, wasn't he? He couldn't hit a straight ball.
Yeah.
But somehow...
Yeah, yes, please, Dave. Yeah.
I'm just going to see that superb swerve shot from Josh DURRANT. Didn't do much good in the end, but you can see there how he's just controlled the arc of the swerve.
Yeah, it did cost him this frame, didn't it? Really, it was going in.
And those shots are a lot. I won't say they're easier because it's still a tough shot, but they're more doable on this sort of cloth that'll grip it more.
This was the shot this frame before, wasn't it?
Yep, so we're just going to see Simon's exquisite escape here. Superb. Maybe that was the turning point in the match.
Yeah.
That
Well,
shot.
that went 7-6, didn't it? That's for 7-6, wasn't it?
Either way,
It's 7-all.
it's
But,
7-all.
There's got to be some drama in this last frame, Kev, hasn't there?
Yeah.
Surely there has.
I want to know who's at work watching this match when they shouldn't be.
And I bet no one's turned it off yet because they want to know who wants to win, because it's probably one of the bets, is it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely in people's accumulators, I would have thought. So Josh to break. He's been pretty successful on the break in pot percentage terms.
He's only missed one, hasn't he? One of his breaks. You don't want to miss one here, though, does he? If there's one you don't want to do, is in the decider, definitely.
So here we go. you calling the frame? What's going to happen in the frame?
With momentum, Simon Webb should be winning the frame because he's won 5 on the bounce. But you know,
how often do you see people pull it back and then just can't get over the final hurdle? It's the psychology changes, doesn't it?
oh yeah, it does. Yeah, definitely. And things get a little bit harder. Things start going too wrong, don't they?
Yeah.
We've all been there, haven't we? We really have. I feel it. Anyway, I think one thing he's got to do is keep the white ball on the table. That has got to be his priority. And just rely on a bit of luck.
So here we go.
One frame shootout, and he's dry.
He's gone dry. Wow.
Just things are starting to go wrong, but are these easy? He's not really got an easy pass on first one, has he? He's not left it bad.
Just watch the break again.
Not anything really close, was
Nothing threatened, really, no.
He's moved all the bags.
So, well,
I think he's been fortunate where he's left it.
is he just going to clip this yellow in top left and just run the white round, maybe try and bust into that cluster in the middle of the table?
It's like one of his only shots on, isn't it? It needs to come out nice. But this is going to be his only chance of the frame. He's on his way. And that's this.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I think that red goes.
I think the yellow definitely goes, doesn't it?
Sorry, the yellow.
Yeah.
So, Simon Webb. Can he complete the comeback? Box office was meant to be working, but he's starting at 4 instead. Like it. Pinchy boy, he's at work. So, all the little nudges are going his way now, aren't they?
They certainly are. I wonder if he's going to start to feel it a little bit now. I don't know. He's got some good momentum, hasn't he? So probably not.
I think he'll definitely be feeling it. But he's certainly in a better place now to control it than he was a few frames ago. He's got to keep positive. Yeah, that's okay. Just a series of little stun shots, I think, now.
Is he going up and down? Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't have gone in there.
Oh, is that? I don't think he's okay.
I think he is.
I don't think that was the right shot, but I think he's okay.
Yeah. But like you said, he's going to have a couple of stun shots now, isn't he?
I think that went in the top corner.
Oh, I did, yeah.
He didn't need to move that. Adam Kirk's asking for any tips on how to get rid of the worst toothache in history. I think, Adam, after some of your comments about my odds of winning an event in the IPA, I hope it crucifies you, kid.
I missed them comments.
Yeah. Get your feet up. So it's all about this
couple of pots away.
A reverse dish stat. Just got to just a little centre ball punch, medium pace, just to glide this across.
It's,
It looks good. It looks good. He's gonna do it.
Yeah.
There we go. What an extraordinary comeback there from Simon Webb. 7-2 down to win 8-7.
Wow.
That is that. Yeah, we're just going to see the black. But the work was done before this, but this is.
Do you want to get Simon in?
Yeah. Do you want to ask him? Because I think somebody needs me.
All right. Okay.
I'll go get him.
Well, we're going to just have a little chat with Simon Webb, just on that victory of his. So here he comes now. Wow, Simon, what can I say? I mean, when I came back from just going upstairs to get freshened up, I come back to the room and you were 6-2 down. And I looked at your body language and you was down, out, buried, gone.
Do you know what?
What's gone off?
So, obviously, first year professional, I've been a bit nervy in all my opening matches anyway. And then with it being on the stream, you know, you're front and centre in the room, and you're aware. And for whatever reason, when I know there's good players watching me, I almost feel more on edge.
Bit of added pressure.
Bit of added pressure, and I just started off nervy. And to be honest, Josh never really got going, and I almost felt like my nerves were rubbing off on him a little bit.
Oh, I see.
And when I got 7, I was done at 6-2. When you come back, I was mentally a little bit shot. And when I went 7-2 down, I wouldn't say I've given up, because I'm still giving everything every visit, but I'm sort of thinking, right, I'm never going to look at my phone again. I'm going to go get changed, jump in the pool, and I'm not going to see anyone again for the rest of the day, and almost relaxed at that point.
I mean, if you just look at the stats here, look, I mean, you know, is there anything that you could?
I missed a lot. I missed a lot of easy balls. I was looking for problems early on. Look at just everything I looked at. First few frames, I was looking at balls and knowing they're the right ball, but took an easier pop because I was worried about missing a ball, and just wasn't there mentally at all. Just completely gone at the start, and relaxed and almost kind of spurred on a little bit when Josh missed the black. That was the first point I thought, well, maybe I might. To begin with, it's just make it respectable.
Yeah, of course.
And then it was like, oh, okay, there's, you know, he's not buzzing here. I've got a chance to. He might give me a couple of opportunities if I can just find something. And I made a couple of nice finishes, but still, absolutely delighted to get the win. I'm a little bit still a little bit upset with the way I played, should we say?
Yeah, of course. I mean, and just going back to the last round where you did clear up. I mean, there was a couple of touches and that sort of went your way, didn't they? But you just, I said to Kev before we did like kick off the final frame, you know, it was all down to momentum for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I've played a lot. In smaller events, feel like I've been playing really, really well, and losing a lot of deciding frames and getting dished in the decider or dished off my break, that sort of thing. I feel like it's been going against me. And I've actually said to somebody this morning, I said I feel like I just need to get a win that I don't deserve, and I might find something. But for whatever reason on this stage this year, I've just really struggled to play to the level I know I can, which is the most frustrating thing.
Let's talk us through this one then, Simon.
Well, do you know what? It's one of those you think, oh, it's you're a million to make it, but do you know what? I wouldn't say I'll practice it, but I've played it enough times messing around and in practice that I know when I'm close to the rail, the white hugs the bottom rail.
Yeah.
And when I'm wider, so if the white's more in the middle of the table, it will throw a little bit wider, a few inches off the cushion.
That's correct, yeah.
So it's a shot I've played and I'm pretty comfortable with. I was looking for something else, but
well, there weren't anything else.
I couldn't see another way of getting close, to be honest.
Not without like 3 cushions, and a jaw or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, momentum's a funny thing. I feel like I really didn't deserve to win the match, but over the moon to be
in the next round.
In the next round, made a Sunday. That's
very good.
First time since Cardiff. So yeah, that's going to be. I'm gonna have to play better, but still in. So
you're in it, aren't you? So it's a different day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a different day, and that. Although I played on the stream before, it was 4 or 5 years ago when I was an amateur, and it was in a room by itself, and it didn't have the same feel as it's got now. Now it is especially the way this arena set up this week. It is front and centre. You walk through the doors. You walk through the doors. You've got the seating all around it. Everyone that's sort of milling around are tuning into your game, and it, for whatever reason, it does make it harder for me mentally when I know those people that are tuning in are world-class players. So
yeah, of course.
But I've got that first game out of the way on the stream. So yeah, I was. Do you know what? I was frustrated with the shot I played, but not because I've got the full ball snooker, which I wanted. I didn't expect him to pot it. I knew he'd hit it, but I tied up my yellow on the left-hand side at the bottom there, and that was what I was disappointed with. I wanted to keep that in open play, so that if whatever he did, I had a good chance to finish. Fortunately for me, he fouled on the next shot.
They did, yeah. It cost him this frame, didn't it? So.
But that sort of finish he left me then. At the beginning of the match, I'm probably second favourite to make, even though they're all there and you should make them. But I just felt nervy enough that I was going to make a mistake somewhere.
Okay.
So,
well, what we've got to do now then, Simon? Are you going to do some commentary with us on this next match?
I'll stay in for a